Hey guys, it's Hey Sophia and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video I'm going to be showing you 10 different bathroom designs you can do in Minecraft, as well as giving you 5 tips to improve your bathrooms. So shout out down below to Greeklev and Liam de Klerk who requested that I show how to do interiors. I figured it's best if I do these in a series so I can show lots of different designs and give you tips for each. These designs are modern based. I've got your traditional bathrooms, I have Scandinavian bathrooms, I've got toilet rooms, I've even got a Japanese style bathroom. So there are 5 tips that I recommend that you use when designing bathrooms in Minecraft to make them realistic. One is that you need to think that bathrooms are a wet room, so you got to think tiles coming up the walls, tiles on the floor. Bathrooms are meant to be wet, so you think about the material you're using, no carpets and like that kind of thing. 2, you don't have to have a toilet. A lot of places here in Australia, toilets are typically in another room, so think about doing a separate room for your toilet. 3, clean and hygienic feeling, tiles, white, that kind of thing. 4, decor. Bathrooms don't have to be boring. Think plants or even picture frames or towels, things like that. 5, design. You want to be matching your bathroom with the rest of your house. So my first design here is a very modern one. I'm using the concrete block for the wall to floor, so it kind of gives the effect of tiles going from the floor to the ceiling. I like to use for my toilets a plain little quartz staircase, and I use a head for toilet paper to give the effect this is a toilet. A lot of people in Minecraft will do this design that I'm building now, but I really don't like them. I think it's way too blocky. Like, look at the scale of the toilet compared to what you would have in the rest of the room. So I like to use a quartz staircase, which you can actually sit on some servers. Staircases are chairs. So staircase, little toilet paper roll head there. This is a laundry basket I made out of trapdoors. I've got a bath mat there, a banner for a towel. Think about your window placement as well. Modern bathrooms will sometimes have windows right where the bath or shower is. A lot of the time though, you do have privacy windows which will be above the room, so think about that as well. My second design here is more Scandinavian, so it's got a very white look, natural wood, that kind of thing. I've got a floating vanity sink here made with wood. I'm using quartz slab on top to replicate a vanity like the sink sitting on top. A quartz slab and a pressure plate, yeah, is what I like to do to replicate towels folded up, so I like to do that on little shelves there. I've got a banner for a curtain. My shower, oh yeah, I'm also using the concrete powder for a floor tile. My shower here, I've made a bath using quartz staircases, and I've got a glass window pane on the edge there which it fits up perfectly, so it's a really great way to do it as a shower screen. Something you need to think about when doing shower and bath, like a bath combination, you should have 2 taps. You need 1 tap for your little bath tap and 1 tap for your shower tap. So I like to use the tripwire hooks for kind of bath taps and the levers for shower taps. My third design here is a toilet room design. So toilet rooms are typically very thin, sometimes long, sometimes not. Sometimes you just have a toilet in there and nothing else in a sink. This is a very Scandinavian all white design. White will really make a room also feel a lot brighter and more open. So if you're trying to make your bathroom toilet room feel more open, think about doing all white. I've got a window at the end to make it feel more open as well. You could add a skylight like this with trapdoors, it adds more light in there. Floating vanity, towel to dry your hands, I've got a toilet, picture frame, but yeah, there we go. My fourth design here is a modern bathroom design. So I've got a ceiling indent with the quartz here around the top. For my shower, I have a double shower head shower, which are quite modern. I've also got this indent at the back to make a shelf. So all I did was 2 blocks back, I have the terracotta tile at the back to make a feature tile. I've also got it on the floor. You could always think about though making the terracotta tile go from the floor and then up the wall at the end there. I did do some of those kind of designs in my update video on the terracotta tile update, so I'll link that down below. I'm using the hopper for a sink there. I'm also using that picture frame as a way to make a mirror. So if you don't like the look of the ice as a mirror, think about doing a frame. Something else as well you need to think about, I didn't do it in my other bathrooms because I was lazy, but think about where you put your lighting. In bathrooms, lighting is very important and you will always find lighting over your vanity sink, so think about where you position your lighting in a bathroom. My next design here really encompasses the idea of a wet room. So this is a older style bathroom. I've got the checkered floor. I've got some shelving up here with staircases, trapdoors, a brewing pot for my, like the cauldron for my vanity sink. I'm also using the black concrete and I've got a window there. But something you need to think with wet rooms, if you want a painted look in your bathroom, do tiles about 2 blocks up the wall and then do paint. So the idea of a wet room, remember, is that things get wet, so you tend to have, if you have a painted bathroom, you'll have tile on the floor, but it will also go up the wall a little bit. I'm also going to just take this down, and you want to just make sure when you do tile that you continue, that you continue your tile up. So especially when you have a shower, continue that exact same tile up one higher so it reaches the top of your shower lever for your shower head, and that is a really good way to show a wet room. My next design here, I've gone for a very white kind of modern look with a natural stone. So I'm using the sandstone on my flooring and up the back wall. I made a little shelving system here, so the upside down quartz staircase is my sink. The other one with the carpet on top is a vanity. I've got a little dent in my floor there as well to replicate a shower, like the drain. So this shower, I've got 2 things going on. So I've got a little dent there. I've got a seat down here with a little mini shower head next to it, and then I've also got the main shower head on the wall. Sometimes you find that this kind of design in family bathrooms because people have kids, or maybe you've got older people in the house, so this is a good way to have a different variant of a shower. So this design is a very modern one and I'm showing off wood now. Sometimes bathrooms have wood, so if you have a kind of wood looking house, this could be a good design for you. I'm using the chiseled quartz block on the wall because I think it actually looks like a subway tile, so it is a very modern look for a bathroom. I'm using quartz around the top and then a slab, so you have that kind of painted looking trimming up the top of your roof. I've got a glass window there as kind of like a splashback for the vanity to make more light, makes the room feel more open. I have my privacy window up the top there, so in this design I'm making it more private instead of having it down the bottom. I've got a spa bath here. I've got also make sure when you do a bath like this, continue the quartz at the back so it looks like the bath is built into the house. But yeah, this is a really cool design. I've got a little bath mat too in front of the toilet. This is a very cute one, I think. I actually really like this design, and don't be afraid to go with quirky shapes for your bathrooms. You don't have to do just plain square or rectangles. You could do different shapes like this, but yeah. My next design here is another toilet room design. So this one is also encompassing the idea of a wet room. So I have the dark prismarine tile around the edging there, as you can see, but I've got it at the back as a feature wall, and then I've got it up going behind the vanity sink for that wet room idea. So behind the vanity you have tiles so you don't get the wall wet. I've got a floating vanity sink here. I've got the orchid for a plant. I'm using the orchid because typically you find in bathrooms that you have pink orchids, or in kitchens. They're a very modern plant now, so blue orchids are a really good plant for a bathroom. And then I'm continuing. I've just got the dark concrete. I've got a little light up the top there. I've just put a glass block in the ceiling and then the little sea temple light up the top. But yeah, there's another very simple toilet design for you. Now this bathroom design is kind of your more stereotypical American master ensuite bathroom design. Not all American master ensuites are like this, but I've seen a few. So sometimes you tend to find, or I tend to find when I look at them, is that you have your toilet and your master ensuite separated. So I've got a toilet room separate in my bathroom here. I've got my privacy window up the top there. I've got a little shelf with some towels. I have a window at the back, floor to wall. Don't be afraid to do that. If your house is very private or out in the middle of nowhere, don't be afraid to have big windows. They're quite common now. But my final design is a Japanese bathroom. So if any of you have a Japanese house in Minecraft, this is what a Japanese bathroom looks like. This is very similar to the bathroom that my homestay family had when I was in Japan, when I went there in high school because I studied Japanese. So I've got tiles down the bottom there. This is a little wash station. So the way that bathrooms work in Japan is that you completely wash yourself and you shower yourself and then you hop in the bath. You do not clean yourself in the bath, you clean yourself outside of the bath. So I've got my little wash station here with a bucket, a little mirror. I've got a little slab down the bottom here as a stool, and then next to that I have my little shower tap here, because you typically have a little shower attachment which you can hook off and wash yourself. Down the bottom I've got a tap to fill my little wash bucket that is on the floor there. You then hop into your bath, which are deep. So Japanese baths, I was really surprised when I was in Japan, they're probably about 1 meter deep. It's not like a bath typically in Europe or America or Australia where you sit in them and you're above them. You literally kind of float in the baths. They're really deep. So if you do a Japanese bathroom, make sure your bath is deep. I would just fill it with water so your friends don't fall in and get stuck in your bath. So think about that. I've done wood for the top of my floors here. Normally though you can have tile all up the way to the ceiling, but I've done wood. I've also got a little iron door trapdoor here because it looks like a little air vent. So because it's a very wet room, Japanese bathrooms, I've got an air vent to let out moisture. But there we go. So there are 10 different bathroom designs in Minecraft. I hope you really enjoy them and they help you in Minecraft. I hope the tips also help you out as well. You don't have to use my designs, but think about the tips and how you could apply them when you're playing and making bathrooms in Minecraft. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below with any suggestions you have for things you would like me to build. But like always guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Bye.